Impact. I'm Andre. You are.
Jaleel.
And Mara.
And then our illustrious camera person slash behind the scenes slash tech slash communications slash New York slash marketer
Slash
training.
DC slash.
Slash too much.
Lots of slashes, but we're happy to have you. Who are you?
Michelle.
Welcome. Man, how's everybody feeling? It's that time of the year again.
Feeling great. We're all on camera, same building, which is a blessing. Doing a lot of things. And our day started off really, really strong when we're connecting with one of our entrepreneur alumni who is seeing a lot of wins. And honestly, just those check-ins are heartwarming. So, yeah.
All on the same coast, all on the same continent. Does this happen anymore? Oh my goodness, it's so good to see everybody. I feel like you guys are alive and not, I can't say Memorex because it'll go over these two's heads, but this person will understand.
Yeah. Can't help you with that one.
What is I feel like saying is the most wonderful time of the year, but I feel like I'm brainwashed to say that. So what do you appreciate about this time, like for a year? When I say this time, I say all the way from Thanksgiving through New Year's. What is something that you appreciate individually? Somebody share.
Slowing down.
Second that.
Yeah, I'm okay with being inside where it's warm and not out in the hustle and bustle of last minuteness.
I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling season. I ain't gonna lie, I look forward to this time of year for that, and then for family too. I'll be traveling to see my brother and sister-in-law, or sister-in-law, as we like to say, out in Ohio. And actually, here's something really cool. So, my parents, military family, and my dad's from Detroit, mom's from Jamaica. They met each other in Florida because of the Navy, and then the Navy moved us out to Whidbey Island. And so something that's been on my dad's heart, which he's actually executing on this year, is going back to Detroit and putting on, during Thanksgiving, we helped him create a whole agenda, itinerary, RSVP thing. And so he's connecting with a lot of his cousins out there to put on this big Christmas gathering.
Nice.
Which my nanny was huge on that. Like, she was a big pillar, matriarch of our family, pulling everyone together.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed over the COVID of cancer, not of COVID, but during that kind of time, and then my grandpa shortly after. So for my dad to come back from Washington to Detroit to coordinate bringing all of our Detroit and / Michigan family together, it's pretty legit. So I'm excited to see. And I always meet new cousins. Every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, here's your cousin from. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
got you on Instagram or something? So I'm excited about that, and just to see him light up in planning all these things, and oh yeah, your uncle this and that person and this gonna be here, and so I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Just the gathering. I'm excited about the gathering.
Yes, I'm excited. We'll see our family on the East Coast. So cousins, great grandparents of our children, grandparents, siblings, nieces and nephews. So I feel that I'm going to be pulled on and be very busy. It's going to be loud. I got to get rid of my introvert barriers and let that threshold. Yesterday I had a lot of people. Even, I was talking to the team a little bit before here, but yesterday I was surrounded by people a lot yesterday. So it was, I didn't have a moment to decompress. And so as soon as I walk home, finally, after when I'm wound down, I'm running all the errands and doing everything, I walk in the house and they were doing loud karaoke. And I was like, I let them finish that song and I go, oh, and that's it. All right. My children are like, why are you being the Grinch? I'm like, I just need silence for a little bit. I just need to recharge. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see family. That's what I look forward to, is catching up with people, because especially when you don't get to see people except but once or twice a year, it's always good to hear what's been going on with them. That's why I don't let them slide with the nothing. When you say, what's been going on? Nothing, the same. I haven't seen you in a year. Something else better have happened in this year.
Much is going on.
Or we're going to have problems. So we have the privilege.
Michelle go?
She's quiet. She said the
I
same.
said what you said.
Oh.
But go ahead, elaborate.
That's it. That you get literally just get to hang out indoors.
Why is slowing down important for you?
I don't know. I just feel like the summertime is nice because it's sunny, but I just feel like I have to be doing something because I don't want to like miss out on being outdoors because it's so precious here in living in the Pacific Northwest.
That's
but
true. That's
You
true.
only get about a month and a half of it, if that.
yeah,
Yes, you got
but
that.
there's something about being able to walk by the lake and no one else being there
Yeah.
in the cold
Mhm.
because that's you can find those moments in the wintertime, but in the summer it's just like can't even find parking.
Mhm.
That's
Can't
real.
even find a
That's so
place to
real.
put your towel down and hang out.
Yeah.
And there's so many parks in Seattle, and the fact that it's hard to find that.
Mm.
So I enjoy everybody being in their pods, and you know, I'm a social person, but not all summer long.
Mhm.
So yes, that's the piece.
I know.
Well, it's kind of making me reflect a little bit because it's beautiful. Like, you know, we live in seasons, and we are like you're expressing your introvertism.
Mhm.
You know, Michelle, her socialitism, but even still, we all have an aspect where we love
Absolutely. We're all of the
to
above.
seclude. You know, we are all of the above. Like in all these like personality tests and stuff to show you where you lean more so, but we really do have. We're all dynamic. You know, so it's like it's good.
I love the when as a child I loved gumbo, you know, the mixture. I like all that.
I love gumbo.
Shout out Tuskegee. I told them I was having a very African American, that's the socially acceptable, but I say a black moment. I'm having a very black moment right now. I woke up this morning feeling very black, very aware of my blackness. So shout out to black people and everybody else. Now we had a passage that really hit us in our team meeting. We talked about out of the Bible, and we know that we don't know where you're at on the spectrum as you're working on your business, as you continue to develop your business, as you continue to build a stronger customer base, you continue to understand your value proposition, you continue to expand your market, you continue to add more tools into your resource belt. We go back to the source material to figure out what models are found in scripture to really ground us as a team so we remember what we're doing it for and who we're doing it for so that it's not just self-serving. We love Urban Impact, and Urban Impact is the same from our president to the board to the executive team. There's a desire that we would reflect the creator's heart and values in the way that we interact and we do commerce in all of our various departments and ministries. And when I say ministry, I just mean the word to serve. It's not, I don't want it to be deep or mystical. I'm not saying it like we're having church. I'm saying we're actually serving in different areas, from children to those incarcerated, to those in business, to those in the community, in the different community-based organizations. We are out here looking to make an impact. So 2 Kings 4 is the passage that we read, verses 1 through 7. And I'm gonna hand off a couple of verses to people and just let them go. So you pick which ones you want to read.
All right. Well, should we just read the passage that we're coming from?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, and this 1 through where?
7.
7. Okay. Here we go. And all right, here we go. Now a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. And the creditor has come to take my 2 sons, or my 2 children, to be his slaves." Elisha said to her, "What shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in the house?" And she said, "Your maidservant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil." Then he said, "Go borrow vessels at large for yourself from all your neighbors, even empty vessels. Do not get a few. And you shall go in and shut the door behind you and your sons, and pour out into all these vessels, and you shall set aside what is full." So she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They were bringing the vessels to her, and she poured. When the vessels were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." And he said to her, "There is not one vessel more." And the oil stopped. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, "Go sell the oil and pay your debt, and your sons, and you and your sons can live on the rest." Boom.
Boom. What is the name of this episode?
4 steps to use debt for production and not consumption.
This is the way to live right now. It's a way to consider. We're looking for tools and for promptings that give us, are you a person that is feeling that you're drowning in your business? You're trying to figure out, you're just as this woman that is in this distressed situation. You might look at inflation and the cost of things are going up, and you're frustrated especially if you have a business that's based upon something that's really got hit by the inflation. So you need this component for you to do things, but if it's food items and your food items are costing more and you had marked out and you wanted your margin might be shrinking, or you might be in a business that's with transportation and fuel is a little higher in cost. A little bit higher, a lot of bit higher. But we think this passage speaks to it. What jumps out from you, team, as we have read that passage, and especially when we talk about debt, because to me this really speaks of debt. This passage speaks about debt.
I'll let Team go first. I'm excited. I don't want to. I know myself.
He's like,
I know myself.
the starting blocks.
He's gonna hijack the show.
I know myself, so please.
Well, to me, it speaks to the determination of this mother to re-ground her family, get them grounded again. Like, I know you've been used to this life, but now we're presented with this opportunity. How do we attack it and overcome whatever obstacle or barrier? Mother's love.
Resourcefulness. So her husband, a little background for those that are watching, so context, right? We want to give context. And this is a person who was mentored. Elisha is a person that was mentored by another prophet named Elijah. And Elijah gave him the tools and the skills and trained him in a school to be able to be God's representative. And so Elisha carried on in the same steed. And so he had a school as well so this widow, her husband was one of his former students, and that's why she comes to him. And the way she's talking to him is, you know me, and you know that my husband was a good man, is what she's basically leveraging. So even as we talk about this, she's coming to him, and what do most people who start telling you their financial situation, what are they looking for, right?
Money.
Resources. She's like, I need you to write me a check. Well, I don't know if they had checks back then, but she's like, you got Venmo? What's up? What's popping? Because they coming. They said they coming for my sons. They coming for that was the economic situation, was that the husband was that the financial resources of the home, and so they're looking for indentured servants. That's what they're collecting the debt, and they're saying somebody's going to pay this debt off. So you got 2 boys who can work. Oh, we're gonna put them to work, and you ain't gonna see them for a while. So I love that Mara pointed out her resourcefulness to say we gotta do something. We gotta look for another opportunity.
Yeah, and just before Michelle goes, quick just comment on how you saw it. Mara was like, she has this opportunity. Like most would probably read this and just read right into a tragedy. Husband has died. Sons are about to be put up for slavery, and then Mara's mindset goes straight to she has an opportunity to put her family back on, and that's what she did. She really, you don't see her lamenting in fear, cowering down. Like she's like, okay, what am I gonna do to save my boys? Mm-hmm. She goes to the pastor essentially. So, which is awesome.
I mean, if we talk about like the 4 steps, right? The first step that she did was go and get and use her resources. So in the moment, she's so stressed because, okay, they're going to take my kids and put them as slaves. Like, we're desperate here. Like, we got to get out of this situation. So she goes and sees who can she find counsel in.
Yes.
And so one thing that I love that we do is we check in on our entrepreneurs. So if you've been in our program, we'll be giving you a call one of these Fridays or Tuesdays. But, if you find yourself in the situation, look to see who's in your circle. And Urban Impact here in the Econ Dev Department, that's one thing that we love to support people in. If you have questions, need encouragement, reach out to us via email. or, and get in touch because that's what we're here for and that's what we love to do as a team and individually. That's why we're all here.
So real.
And then the second piece is that I love that he turned around and said, well, look at what's within.
Yes.
So the first thing is be resourceful and talk to someone who you confide in and who you trust in helping you. And two is when you're so stressed, sometimes you forget that you have a whole tool belt of things to offer. So turn back inward and what is it that you can, what do you have in your hands
It's good.
that you can do something with?
It's good.
Instead of going to a bank and being like, well, I need 10,000, so I'm gonna go to the bank,
Yes.
go get that check, and not even running through the ideas of what to do with that money because you'll find yourself in more bad debt. And then we'll continue to talk about how to create assets instead of burning that money. We talked about other scriptures where it talks about burning oil.
Yes. We did it on a live a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So preserving that oil and making it go far.
Because the oil is costly. It's precious.
Yes.
And she had, and her perception of, I love the fact, a couple things that you said that really jumped out at me is we can be blinded by our own distress, by our own situation. The situation can be magnified over the opportunities. So Mara talked about recognizing, are we opportunity oriented? Are we scarcity based? Or are we abundance based? Are we saying, and when Michelle spoke to, are we sitting there saying we don't have resources, or are we trying to figure out how to become more resourceful? Yeah. So it's about framing and reframing the way that we principles. It's about framing and reframing how we're able to see things, because she is scared, no doubt, because you know that the debtors are not coming being nice. They're not saying, we'd like to borrow your son's phone. They're saying, we taking these boys. Yeah. And they looking at already sizing up. I got loads. I got things for him to do. Pause. I got things for him to, handle in my business. And just making sure that your perspective is that first off, you go, there's safety in a multitude of good counsel. There's a scripture that says there's safety in a multitude of good counsel. And our desire is to be that resource for you, that you look at us as a blessing and not a burden, that you say, I need to reach out to Urban Impact because they've given me good counsel. And then I love that he put the onus back on her and he made her self-assess. First he said, what do you want? So she had to be specific with what her need was. Like, what is it that you want? What's going on? What do you want me to do? Yeah. And then he goes, what do you have in your house? What's that? What do you got?
Powerful.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about self-assessment and about realizing what it is that you have, taking an inventory? Can you guys speak to that of times, how important that is for business? For you as an individual, first off, and then for you as a business owner to assess what you've already got and what you're working with. Because I know for myself, I was, in my own personal business, I was looking at, I want more and more customers. And my assistant will slow me down and be like, you already have customers, keep taking care of them. Reach out to them, you've got a list, go to the list. You want to build the list, that's great, but are you taking care of the ones that are currently on the list? Or did you forget about them, right? If they became a customer for a reason, continue to feed those relationships and pour into them. So,
yeah, that's huge. Just really picking back on, I want to emphasize those points. I mean, this woman is in tragedy. Like it's a blessing in our day and age. Like, they're not going to come steal your kids from you to pay off a debt, but how many families can really relate to this situation now? A family member passes along, right, or they die, and they've got a bunch of debt to their name. So there's either no inheritance to give or something for the kids to pay on. You know what I'm saying? That in reality, there are many families every single day to this day that are leaving their kids in slavery, in a debt to somebody else, to something else. Maybe it's not pretty, but this has happened in my family extended, and I'm obviously not gonna say any names because it's Christmas, so I gotta see these people, right? but when you have a child and then people are going through hard times, the next thing you know, like parents start taking out debt on their kids' name because they're trying to survive and make it. And then, then the parent passes away,
credit.
and the next thing you know, you find out, oh, I owe this on what? You know what I'm saying? So it's the debt for consumption or the debt for production.
That's good.
Elisha, as you said, first thing he did is he asked, what do you want? And then he says, what's in your house? What is in your house? And so when tragedy is amplified, we're usually not looking inward to find an answer. We're usually looking for everyone else. And those things usually get expensive, like consultants or a new product or a new this or new that. When in reality, if you were to go back and take care of your customers, take care of or look into what you have, maybe you can offer something of more value, or maybe you can refine, you know what, this is the 20% of my products or services that are really cash flowing me. Let me just cut off all these other things that I'm doing and get clear and get simple, because tragedy has a beautiful way of making things very clear and simple. Because when you're in pain, you can't afford to do all the extra things. In the summer, you can go everywhere, you can do everything, you can be out. But in the winter, the places that you go are places that you either need to be or you want to be. And usually, nothing extra. So in the winter of your business, if you're experiencing a tragedy, this is the time where you can really reflect on, what is my 20%? What, if I'm going to go into debt, if I'm going to use leverage, what are the things that are worth or worthy of leveraging? It's probably not going to be making a payment on a new t-shirt or pants, because those businesses, the product, clothing lines, they're literally coming out with payments on shirts, on clothes. I'm like, they're really trying to trap people. Like, it's insane. It's insane.
So I love those first 2 points. Can you reiterate them again? Because we're gonna walk through that. We want to have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
So step 1 is to look for counsel, and that could be here at Urban Impact. That could be mentors. That could be coaches, and like you guys all said, your customers. Your customers. There's something about businesses that actually take time to listen to their customers and pivot based on what their customers' wants and needs are. Like one book that I was reading, it's like, you're not the superhero. Like, your customer is. Like, put them on that pedestal, and they will love your business. So that's the first one. The second one is to look inward. It's, your mind will automatically want you to panic, but take some time to recollect yourself and look inward.
Slow down, become resourceful instead of, and I love the fact of, hit them with number 3, because what do we got? We got like 7 minutes?
Number 3 would be to go to create assets.
Yes.
Go out and get an asset.
He told her, based upon what she had, he said, now I want you to go. You have the passage, right? Or it closed up. But he said, I want you to go to your neighbors, and I want you to borrow. He said, go borrow vessels at large for yourself from all your neighbors, even empty vessels. Do not get a few. So these are very specific instructions. He's saying, I need you to go get as many. I want to be clear with you. Get as many as you can. So that requires humility to even go and to borrow. But she's not borrowing, as we spoke of, to consume it. She's not borrowing so that just her family will have oil. She's borrowing to now be a blessing, because that oil is gonna multiply in the hands of the Creator. Things will multiply. There's things that you're having that you have gifts, talents, abilities. Even one of our entrepreneurs we talked to earlier today, they came to us in a situation and we encouraged them, and then we helped them to identify and re-identify that their strength was really in their voice. That's where their gift was. And then they said they pivoted to spending more time on that, and that's where their energy was, and that's where the wealth is being created, is based upon what their gift is. Your gift will make room for you. The scriptures say that your gift will make room for you. There's doors that will open up when you identify your gift. Don't just try to be like everyone else, but when you're operating in your business, build off of your gift and use that gift and bring it in service to others. Put skill around that gift. Let's not just be lazy with the gift, but now she has to do the skill of oil making. She just thinks, oh, well, I got this oil. what's he telling me to borrow vessels for?
Yeah.
He's like, go borrow as many as you can.
Yeah.
And then he says, I want you to pour it. He says, and you shall go and in and shut the door behind you and your son. So he's saying, put your sons to work. If you don't want them to be taken, this is a powerful principle for people who are trying to build a business and a family business and all that. He's saying, put those that are around you, put them to work. Build this family business. Go and close the door, which deals with focus. Go close the door. Shut yourself away. You don't need to be visible right now. You don't need to be on social media. You don't need to be posted right now. You need to get your own house in order and get this product ready and get it right. And so they're behind the scenes pouring this oil. And as they're behind the scenes pouring this oil, he says, so she went. And he said, and you shall set aside what is full. So he put in he told her how to do it, get it all bottled up. She went from him, shut the door behind her and her son. So she followed his exact instructions, and they were bringing the vessels to her as she poured. So as she's pouring, it keeps expanding. And this is what happens in our life, is it represents, and I love the fact that it says a certain woman instead of giving a name, so that we can all see ourselves in it. So we don't want to be caught up in the story. We can see ourselves in it and understand a principle that she's pouring. The more you pour out, the more capacity you have to receive. The more we hoard and we try to hold back what it is that we're gifted with, the less we have. We're a scarcity minded, like, oh, I don't want to, we don't want. I went to the barbershop this morning and they had a bunch of toys in there. And my barber tells me, he was like, oh yeah, we're doing toys for tots. He was like, you bring in toys, you get this much off your haircut. I was like, what? Because I had another appointment scheduled for my son later on. And I said, okay. I shook his hand. I was like, man, respect. You bet, I'm on it. I want to do it because he set the principle of giving. Yeah. And it made me want to give, even though I already give as my own family. But I like the fact that I'm in an environment where that's the mindset rather than just take. So when you have your gift and you have this, I think that her pouring was very important, her closing the door and focusing. What are other principles we can extract from this? Because we've got 2. What's 3 and 4? I know she had to go borrow 2. You said the asset.
The first one was seek counsel. The second one was look inward for your resources. I would almost say that.
She said third was what?
Third was building assets, and then I don't know. I mean, the fourth one to me kind of seems like taking action.
Taking action.
And it kind of does measure in with the number 3 of building the asset. But if she got the strategy, and if she said, what if she didn't execute on it?
Yeah.
What if she's like, okay.
What did executing look like?
Shoulda, you know what I'm saying? Like, Elisha just gives you the principle, hey, go get, all right, this is what you got to do. What do you have in your house? Okay, you got some oil? Okay, great. All right, now here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ask all your neighbors. Now, and we mentioned in our team meeting, she had to have good relationships, good social capital in order to make that ask. And who knows what kind of deal she had to do on the side to get some of those vases.
Yeah.
And those pots, right? So there's communication skills, that's networking skills, and you don't usually get to make an ask of someone that you don't know.
It's true.
So she was invested, her family was invested in the community in some capacity, and had enough goodwill to say, hey, you know what, we're gonna trust you that we're gonna get our bases back.
And then she levels up and she takes it to the same people likely that she borrowed from, and they're looking at it, didn't I just give that to you yesterday? Mara, didn't I give that to you? Michelle, didn't I give that to you? Andre, Jalil?
Come on.
Right? And yeah, I did. I'm selling this oil. You want this oil? Yes, I do.
Boom.
What a powerful principle that which was in her home that she has just sat on for all this time and just holding on to it now has expanded and was able to, he says, go sell it, pay off your debts, and live off the rest. She became an oil tycoon from exercising this principle. We want to encourage you in this season that when everybody is telling you to pull back, we're telling you to not pull back. We're telling you to pour out what it is that you have and watch it expand. Don't make shortcuts when it comes to excellence. We had a conversation, I was talking with Jalil earlier, and this idea of like the word Elion and you know, and all these different things in the scripture represent the name God, the chief one, the powerful one. And so when you talk about excellence or to excel, it means to let God out, right? So people have the opportunity that we can show and demonstrate to people through our great business, through the way we have a great attitude. It makes a difference. I know some of these establishments, I'm not going to say their name, everybody's turning the thing towards you now to give them a tip. and you be like, what did you do? But I realize that it says it is blessed, it is better to give than to receive. So my mindset is that just like God is giving me things I don't deserve, I'm gonna be a blessing to them because it's not mine anyway. So yes, I want to encourage people, put a smile on it, reach out in your business. What do you guys have to say as we're closing out?
This was huge. So the tactics that we'd leave you with is, in times of adversity and in times of abundance, look inwards. What do you have to offer? Seek counsel. Be good to people. Love on people, because you never know what bridges you might have to go back and cross.
If you're gonna borrow to what?
Borrow only for things that will create assets that will add value to you.
All right, only purchase.
Producing.
Yeah,
Production.
buy for production. That's it. But
Borrow
don't
for
borrow.
production.
Don't borrow to consume. Oh, she got it, and she went and she bought a new car with the first piece of oil that she. No, it like she went and got a new Camel. No, she didn't go and stunt and get new gear. She was focused. I'm getting this debt paid off. I'm starting my life brand new, and I'm gonna start a whole new opportunity. So borrow to get an asset that produces cash flow and that produces value and can increase your net worth, whatever it is. Figure out how to do that with your business. Figure out, and there's great books and resources that will actually recommend for you that help you identify some assets. There's a great book by Daniel Priestley, and it'll pop up in the show notes, called 24 Assets by Daniel Priestley. Great book. 24 Assets helps you identify the 24 assets that should be in your business, 24 digital assets, and it's a beautiful thing. So encouragement to all of us. This is your season. This is your time. Don't be stingy. Be generous.
I wanted to add one thing that we didn't talk about, but yes, that there has to be action that has to be done after all these parts that you go through. But I think there is a key point to this passage, that you have to have faith. So she turned around, and I mean, that was one thing that stuck out to me when we read this scripture earlier this week, that she said, I only have one, let's see, she said, I have a jar of oil. And then he went and told her to go borrow all these jars and fill all of them up. My mind automatically went to thinking, where is she going to get oil to fill all those things up? Like, what do you mean, you know? But instead of thinking, like, how am I going to get there? You know, he's telling me to get jars. I'm just going to return these empty jars, you know? Like, no, like, have faith that through the instruction of the counsel that people are giving you, if you just execute and follow that, and then also just trust in I used to row in high school, and our coach would tell us, trust in your training. Like, we would all be so nervous on like test day, because we would be measured and whatnot, and having to, depending on what boat you would end up in, and we'd have to do these crazy tests where we'd have to row as hard as we could to get to 2,000 meters, and the best times would end up in the best boats, and that was the ranking. And we would always be nervous, but he's like, trust in your training. Like, you guys have been working for 3 months straight. Like, 6 days out of the week, you guys are working out 3 intense hours. You're going to get on that erg and you're going to kill it. Just because you have been, I've seen you. I've seen you in all of your workouts putting in the work. And sure enough, we would all kill our workouts. Like, we would kill our numbers, and I was shocked every time. I remember I looked at him and I was like, I can't do a pull-up. He said, I bet you can. And I jumped up, and he was like, do it. And I did 3 pull-ups.
Let's go.
Never in my life had I ever been able to do a pull-up.
Wow.
So trust in your training, trust in you getting up and putting in the work, in that the people that you seek and counsel are giving you good advice, and they want to see you win.
I love it.
Yeah, that faith is huge, because that oil, that I really believe her faith caused that oil to flow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that would be actually terrifying if someone said, hey, here's the game plan, go borrow some vases, and then what? Wait, what?
Now I'm in debt even more.
That's so real.
It's real.
Faith, I mean, without it,
come back and bring these empty, like it's.
Come on, so.
But her faith was demonstrated through her obedience. She had to act out. So are you obedient? Are you obeying what's given to you? like we don't like that word in our culture, but if we don't take action on what it is that we know to do, then we're not stewarding, we're not managing well.
Yeah.
So the financial house being in order is a part of a management principle for all of us. And that's my encouragement. That's our team encouragement. As you've heard, all the observations that have been made, we do this on Fridays because we want to have something that gives you an infusion, an injection, a reminder of who you are and whose you are, and the opportunity for you to grow and expand, and know that you have people in your corner that are rooting for your business to go out and add more value in the marketplace. So
Mara, did you want to say anything?
Well, just as you wrap, with all that said, it is a lifestyle, you know, and don't block your blessings. Like
There you go.
that's all I can add.
Preach.
And we will see you. We will see you. Peace out.
We will
Next
see
Friday.
you.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.